Now that we've covered some basic information about marijuana, let's examine what research says about it. Marijuana damages DNA and may cause cancer. It is well known that toxic substances such as tobacco smoke can damage DNA and increase the risk of lung and other cancers. Scientists were unsure whether cannabis smoke would have the same effect. Research shows that the ability of cannabis smoke to damage DNA has significant human health implications, especially as users tend to inhale more deeply than cigarette smokers, which increases respiratory burden. The smoking of 3 to 4 cannabis cigarettes a day is associated with the same degree of bronchial mucous membranes as 20 or more tobacco cigarettes a day. A study by Martins and Associates supports the health risk associated with smoking marijuana. The study challenges the popular belief that smoking marijuana is less harmful than smoking tobacco. Researchers are reporting that smoking marijuana, like smoking tobacco, has toxic effects on cells. People often view marijuana as a natural substance, less harmful than tobacco. As public attitudes toward marijuana change and legal restrictions ease in some states, use of marijuana is increasing. Scientists know that marijuana smoking has adverse effects on the lungs. Martin's study begins to consider the function and question of marijuana smoke toxicity to cells and DNA. They found distinct differences in the degree and type of toxicity between marijuana and cigarette smoke. Marijuana smoke caused significant more damage to cell and DNA than tobacco smoke. Tobacco smoke caused chromosome damage, while marijuana did not. Another consequence of smoking marijuana may be decreased motivation. Long-term marijuana users tend to produce less dopamine, a chemical in the brain linked to motivation. Dopamine levels in the brain lowered in people who smoked marijuana and in those people who started smoking marijuana at a younger age. Additionally, this also could explain the controversial amotivational syndrome, which has been described in marijuana users. As marijuana's legal status changes across the United States, its impact on health has become of great interest. Marijuana is the most commonly used illicit drug, yet its impact on health and healthcare-related utilization has not been extensively studied. Research suggests that marijuana usage has little measurable effect on self-report health or healthcare utilization in adults using drugs identified in a healthcare clinic. They found no differences in daily marijuana users and those using no marijuana in their use of the emergency room, in hospitalizations, medical diagnosis, and or their health status. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration conducted a roadside survey that was completed by making stops of drivers in order to determine drug and alcohol use. This was done at locations all across the United States. The participants were invited to provide breath alcohol measurements, oral fluid samples, and/or blood samples. The survey found that drugs tended to be detected at night and that the most common drugs detected were marijuana, methamphetamine, cocaine, and alcohol. Other research also confirms the link between marijuana use by drivers and the risk of car accidents. Drivers who test positive for marijuana or report driving within 3 hours of marijuana use are more than twice as likely as other drivers to be involved in motor vehicle crashes. In addition, crash risk increases with the concentration of marijuana produced by compounds in the urine and the frequency of self-reported marijuana use. In 8 out of 9 studies, drivers who use marijuana are significantly more likely to be involved in crashes than drivers who do not. Driving after marijuana use is on the rise. More than 25% of high school seniors drive after using alcohol and drugs or ride with the driver who has. In particular, driving after smoking marijuana has increased over the past 3 years. In a study sponsored by the National Institute on Drug Abuse, results indicated that while the prevalence has decreased since 2011, the most recent 3 years has shown an increase in driving after abusing marijuana, which rose from 10% in 2008 to 12% in 2011. Driving performance studies on driving simulators, open driving courses, and closed driving courses show that marijuana can impair driving abilities for up to 3 hours. Decreased reaction time, handling performance, sleepiness, and impaired motor function are also detected. Marijuana may particularly impair the monotonous driving for extended periods of time. This brief presentation reviewed some research findings relative to marijuana use and the effects on health, the impact it has on health and healthcare, and the impact it has on drug driving. To complete this course, please read Time to Change Attitudes on Marijuana, a Historical Perspective, that's located on our website.